I'm going to approach this problem about ancient Hindu deities in two different ways, talk about two different ways to solve it so that it's clear what all the grammar is happening in this problem. So first of all, just our old friend, the modifier touch rule. What we have here, fashioned, that is a modifier. It's a participle. And so it should be modifying the thing it touches. Well, it's touching empire. The Kushan Empire was not fashioned out of sandstone or gray schist. That doesn't make any sense. What we're referring back to are the images of the Hindu deities. So the modifier is not actually touching the thing it's trying to modify. So in the GMAT, that is just a faulty construction. So that's a problem, that's a problem, that's a problem. A, B, and C are all faulty constructions because the modifier is not touching what it should touch. Now D and E take a new tack. D and E try to restructure the whole sentence. They put an and in the middle, and they're trying to create two parallel clauses. So the actual subject of the first part of the sentence, the subject is the word many, the verb is date. Many of these images date from such and such a time, and so we need another verb in parallel to the verb date. So in D we have and, either fashioned from. So fashioned, again, is a participle, so it can't be in parallel with a verb. So this doesn't work. So that's wrong also. That only leaves E. What E has is many images date from and were fashioned. Were fashioned, that is a genuine verb. That's a passive verb, but it's a genuine verb. It can be in parallel with the verb date, and so that is a correct parallel structure. So this approach alone leads to answer E. But let's look at another issue also, which is equally important. Use of either and or. So, if I use either and or, and there are common words, words that are meant to apply both to the X and to the Y, one strategy is to put all the common words in front of the word either. So, for example, we could have fashioned from either one kind of rock or the other kind of rock. If we put either of the common words, if we put any of the common words after the first either, whatever appears after the first either has to appear after the or also. So if we have fashioned either from one kind of rock, we have to follow it with or from another kind of rock. So notice in the first one, we have fashion before the word either, we have from after the either, and so we need or from, so that is also incorrect. In the second one, we have fashion from, so that's correct. The fashion and the from are both in front of the either, but then we have an extra from floating around after the second or, so that's incorrect also. The third one, we have either fashion from, so now we're putting both common words after the word either. So to make it parallel, we'd have to have both common words after the word or, and we simply don't. So that's incorrect also. We have either fashioned from or from. So here, again, fashioned from, both common words put after the word either. And so we'd need fashioned from here also, so that's out. And E is the only one that constructs it correctly. Were fashioned, so fashioned, the common word before either from or from. The common word that appears after the word either also appears after the word or. So that is correct. So on both counts, E is the correct answer.